Hey, good morning, everyone. This is Casey with a cup of tea with Casey. Just wanted to check in with you guys. I wanted to talk today about something super important. I wanted to talk about toxic relationships. All of us at some point or another in our lives have found ourselves in a toxic relationship. It may be a professional relationship, maybe it's with your boss or your supervisor or your coworkers or your colleagues. Maybe it's a personal relationship. Maybe it's a marriage or a girlfriend or a parent-child relationship, an adult child with an aging parent, or any variation, right? Just there's so many different combinations that could exist where the relationship is toxic and not serving you well. And there are some cases where you can't find your way out of the relationship or you can't find a solution to the problem right now. You're waiting for the end of the fiscal year for your company to merge or for you to get that promotion or waiting for your spouse to agree to go to marriage counseling so you guys can improve the nature of the relationship or decrease the level of toxicity or exit the relationship, whatever. There are times that we find ourselves stuck in toxic relationships. But even while we're in that topsy-turvy place, we need to be thriving and living abundantly. So today I want to talk about 4 tips and ways that you can thrive while you're in a toxic relationship. Tip number 1 is take responsibility. It's so tempting to blame and point the finger at the other person and defer fault. That's a very, very easy thing to do. And I will say this, that it may be true that this other person is responsible for all of the toxicity in this relationship. However, you get to choose how you handle that. And if you spend all your time kind of blaming and deflecting, it takes up a lot of your emotional bandwidth and capacity to create your own change and to rewrite your own story. So stop with the blaming. Point number 2, get a trusted advisor. It's super important that you have someone that has earned the right to hear your story. Someone that you give permission to speak into your life, someone that you trust. I don't recommend that you go to someone else who hates the boss, who you guys end up just sitting around talking and complaining and whining. That usually is not very solution focused, and it only creates even further neuron pathways and goes back to the whole blame game again. So that's not very helpful. Or if you're in a toxic relationship with your spouse, I don't recommend talking to your mother-in-law, who is not going to serve a very good purpose in, again, creating change and being solution focused and helping to equip you with tools on how to live abundantly and thrive in that environment. So I would definitely choose your trusted advisor well. You can outsource it and pay a counselor or a therapist or a life coach, or if you have a dear friend who can speak into your life positively and objectively and help to equip you with tools and give you accountability and all those amazing things. But it's super important that you don't go about this alone and that you have a trusted advisor. Point number 3, when you're in a toxic relationship, is create a plan, an improvement plan. So if you're in a job that you don't like, for example, and you're in a toxic relationship with your supervisor or some of your colleagues, work on your self-growth. Develop some new skill sets, improve your game so that it improves your confidence. So when you're in these relationships, you have more emotional leverage. Work on self-improvement, make your game better. If you're in a toxic marriage, it's super important that as you're creating boundaries in this relationship, you yourself are improving. Sometimes that's self-development, sometimes that's self-help, sometimes that's meditation. Whatever that looks like for you, it's very important that you do something that builds your own strength and you're creating positive outlets for yourself. And then last but not least is create an exit plan and stick to it. Toxic relationships have a lifespan. They cannot exist forever. You need to have a game plan to create change, for behavior modification, for improvement. How am I going to change this situation in my job? Whatever that looks like for you, create a plan and stick to it. And that's where your trusted advisor comes in to help to hold you accountable. If you say within the next 6 months, I will change my position or apply for a lateral move, or change the departments. Or if you're in a toxic relationship with a spouse, it's important that you create a plan for counseling so that there can be some incorporation of behavior modification. And if that doesn't work, you need to have a plan to exit the relationship and know that you are sticking to that plan. So whatever it takes, toxic relationships eventually will wear you down, and we can't exist for a very extended period of time in them. But these are just 4 tips that will help you if you're stuck in a toxic relationship right now, and will help you to live your best topsy-turvy life. I hope this helped. Looking forward to talking to you guys soon. Bye-bye.